Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Happy Friday the 13th, everybody. My name is Jamie Lammers, and welcome to Music of the Mountains, Where to Be and What to See, brought to you by the Mountaineer Podcast. I am super excited for today's episode because we've got a double feature. We've got Kimmerjae Macarus and Morgan McHugh joining us. Kimmerjae Macarus has joined us before talking about her sculpting work. And now we're going to be talking to these two musicians who are performing at Ned General very soon. In Music of the Mountains, we want to make sure we keep you up to date with all of the great music events in the Peak to Peak area. And that includes music events from this week's sponsor, Eldora Mountain Resort. Skip the epic traffic on I-70 and head to Eldora for good vibes all season long. Eldora is your go-to spot for non-stop winter fun, with great local skiing and riding, plus slopeside DJs and the App Race music series. Don't miss the Full Moon Ski Tour, the Timbers Rail Jam, or the Morning Uphill Grind. Get all the details and check out weekly events at eldora.com. See you on the mountain! And now, let's get into the interview.
All right. So, do you two just mind introducing yourselves real quick?
Yeah, Kimmer, go ahead.
Kimmerjae Macarus, live in Lafayette.
My name's Morgan McHugh, and I'm from Bellingham, Washington, and I live in Boulder now.
Sweet. And you two will be performing together at Ned General very soon.
We will, yes.
Trade some songs and do a couple together, probably.
It'll be really fun night. And that's February 26th.
Yeah, so in terms of playing as musicians, both individually and now kind of as a duo for this upcoming show, you know, how you two kind of started in music? What's been your musical journey, all that kind of stuff?
I've been playing music since I was about 5 years old. Grew up in a musical family. Played in a couple different played in a band for a while, and then started playing out solo a lot and taking my music to different places and playing house concerts. Done a lot of self-booked house show tours, small pubs in the past year, and I've been writing songs for a long time, playing guitar. And one of my first shows that I ever played in Colorado, my first ever show was at Kimmerjae's house concert series. And ever since then, we've been great friends and kind of kept in close touch with each other and our music. And she's an amazing songwriter, and grateful to cross paths with her.
Oh, thank you. And as I mentioned to Jamie before you got on, you blew us all away with that first concert. It's, there's big age difference between us, but I have immense respect for Morgan's work. And it's just very moving and very authentic. And also I love Morgan's voice. And, I'll say at this point, it might be fun because Jamie knows I'm a sculptor also. We've done another interview about that. And I think that I came to music first as a sculptor, really. I thought about the shapes in the songs, and as I was composing them, I was 16 when I started writing, and, I was thinking about the forms more, and very slowly came into more awareness of the sound that I'm making. And people like Morgan are just in the sound all the time, and it's gorgeous being around the music that Morgan makes.
Thank you so much, Kimmer. It means the world.
It's true.
And likewise, I've gotten the fortunate to, sometimes we've had dinner and I'll be staying at her house for a little bit when I first got back here this winter and got to hear her some of her newer songs and hear her practicing upstairs. And she just has a kind of an enchanting and unique style of playing that I feel like you don't hear as much anymore. Sometimes, even though it's uniquely hers and her own, it reminds me a lot of, I hear a lot of Joni Mitchell, just kind of timeless musical spirit in her guitar playing and her voice that just is rare these days. And yeah, really special. And I think everybody that, gets to hear her play when she does, she's very intentional, about her performances. It's really, really special. So I'm excited to play the show with her finally.
Oh, thanks, Morgan.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, incredible. And what about you, Kimmerjae? How have you kind of developed in your musical sort over the years? What's been kind of your movement forward in your journey?
Well, Morgan's right that I listened to a lot of Joni Mitchell, that's for sure. And my family was also musical, though not professionally, hardly at all. You know, they did small things, but it wasn't the focus, but everybody was always singing, and I played cello first. But these were sort of things that were belonging to becoming a person, like we all just, you're 9 years old, play an instrument. Oh, my sister wanted to play violin when she was 5, and they made her wait till she was 6, but she started that early and was sort of the most serious for a while. And she ended up in country and opera, and one of my other brothers ended up in serious metal rock and roll band, and they were a big hit in Chicago when he was very young, and I'm in the middle just writing my little folk music songs. So yeah, I was at art school in high school. I went away to school to Interlochen Arts Academy, and one of the dorm advisors taught me to play guitar, and I just was hooked. And we had roommates. I had this gorgeous 6-foot tall Texan woman dancer roommate named Mary Murphy Price, and I would just not be able to stop. I'd be writing songs till 2, 3 in the morning. I'm like, Murph, are you okay? And she's like, oh, it's great. I'm fine. Keep going. That was a blessing. Yeah, long time ago.
For sure. And in terms of both of your musical developments, a lot of that has involved sitting down, writing songs, learning how you prefer to write songs, and developing that over the years. And so what has stuck out to both of you about being able to write songs and share them with people and share them with each other as musicians?
Good turn, Morgan.
I feel like writing songs and sharing them with each other as musicians, it's a different thing. We'll start out with when a music absorber, somebody called themselves a music absorber recently, which I love. Not just a music lover.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool way of saying it. Somebody said that recently. Like, I don't play, but I'm a music absorber. And that's a really special thing. And those people are what make the show go on or hold the space for it. And there's so many of those people, and they show up to the house concerts, and that's really special. But it's a different experience for somebody like that versus, like, they know what's good and, they know what they like and enjoy and what's important to them. But when musicians go and listen to themselves or to each other, whether it's at a big concert or a small intimate house concert or just playing together in a room, it's a different kind of connection. It's so uniquely its own. We're both, I think, sometimes we're taking it in and we're just like, wow, that's just amazing, admiring and kind of honoring each other's art. But we're also finding silently, I think musicians kind of silently compare certain little things, not in a bad way, but just like kind of analyze after the song or performance what they do differently or what they could apply, something they learned from that, something they took from that, or, critiquing both themselves and each other in a constructive way. I think that happens a lot with musicians, but then it's less critical, more like you hear something that reminds you of something else and you're wondering, oh, I wonder where they got that from, Moments like that happen. And then they're like, well, I actually got that from this songwriter. Like saying that song is inspired by this album, Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan, something like that. Like, wow. And then they're like, a lot of the times I feel like in my experience, I'll guess something and they're like, yeah, actually that is a big inspiration of mine. And so I think that we're constantly, when we're sharing each other's art, we're both honoring it and analyzing it after,
It's kind of a study process.
It is. And I think I tend to just kind of think about it and then might ask a couple questions, but I just think about it, and I'm not usually as vocal about it. But one thing I like about you, Kimmer, is when I share a song with you, you always have some form of feedback, whether or not like, I think this needs more, like you could add another verse. You just always have something to say, David, which is really cool. I really appreciate that a lot.
I have a lot of responses to what you're making, and I just share how I feel about it, which, Morgan stayed here for a little bit when he landed back in Colorado, and so this is referencing sort of being in the same space a lot. And Morgan walked in from just off the plane, basically, and without even taking his coat off. You want to hear my new song? I'm like, yeah, I do. It's so vital, that conversation, and to just dive into the magic of the sound making. I loved that. Our little bit of being housemates. That was great.
I really liked that a lot. I really enjoyed every moment from that. Yeah. You know, when you want to share something, you want to share it right then and there. And I think that's exactly how I was feeling. Yeah. It was fresh. Needed it.
Yeah, it's been so exciting to have a new song.
It is. Yeah, it really is.
And, I think in terms of how we build songs too, like what is similar with us is that as far as I remember from our conversations and understand, it's like there's some study and reference and maybe more from you than from me, but I'm kind of averse to like songwriters circles and song classes, and I'm just a renegade that way, and I don't want to be told how to, like, it's not formulaic at all. They're like my kids, I don't have children, but this is as close as I get. It's the sculptures and songs I make have their own space, and I'm like, don't you tell me how to do Not that I couldn't, I have amazing musical friends, and Morgan, it looks like both Kent and Kabu are going to come with me to the Netherlands show we do, so they'll be there too. And these guys, sometimes they have really brilliant things to share and take the songs in a new way, but I can be really protective of them too. And,
of course.
The authenticity of the voice is, I think, also pretty important to you, Morgan.
It is. Yeah, it's super, super important. Authenticity is everything. I think that's the first thing I judge or not judge, but that's the first thing I think about when I'm listening to a new artist is not thinking, do I like this? Is this my style? Because I'm pretty open-minded to I like to listen to music outside of my own genre and absorb, all kinds of music. And even if I don't, I saw this duo at the new Prospect Theater in Bellingham, and my mom had told me about them, and I listened, and I was like, wow, it's amazing climber banjo playing. It's a cool duo, dueling banjos, guitar, and their harmonies are great, but I wasn't sure how much I was excited about the voices. And then it took me going to the show to completely switch my thinking. And it wasn't just that I liked the voice. I loved the way they sang live. It wasn't just that. It was very haunting, actually. Very haunting show. It was just how authentic it was. It was so authentic. Like felt like I instantly knew both of them, even though I didn't, through their work, and it was real and honest. And I've had that happen multiple times since. But, there's a lot of famous artists from the modern day that I'm just not really interested in because it doesn't feel authentic to me. And I don't know. It just authenticity comes first for me. It's really important. I want to see a reflection of somebody's personality in their performance too, because it plays a massive role in art. Self-expression.
For sure. It sounds like you two really have just similar, I don't want to say even musical inclinations, but it sounds like you two just really have a similar wavelength when it comes to the music that you write and perform. So it sounds like this is the first time you're actually performing together. What's particularly exciting about being able to get on stage and perform together like this?
I'm excited just to see. I'm just curious. There's a discovery thing. It's like we have a similar ethos, I think, and some similar flavors, but it's different. And tuning up to each other is doing and finding ways to play together and play in the big sense of play, like kids playing. There's that kind of excitement about it. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's the special thing I think about it is that I don't want to just share bills with or play shows with people who are the same style as me. Like to get pretty, not stale, but just kind of repetitive. And so I'm a true believer in, what's the word?
Cross-pollination for variety.
Cross-pollination, yeah. I like that. Yeah, different flavors, different flavors, different sounds. It's better that way. So I think that's one thing that makes this gig special. I also happen to work up there too. For sure. I think that makes it really special.
And what have you guys loved about just performing in general over the years and being able to share this music with the people?
I think for me, it's been a big confidence builder. I'm not afraid to show people all my colors right off the bat on stage. Yeah, you're putting on a show and you have to, if you're in a bad mood that day, you have to push through. But for the most part, it feels like real. It feels honest. And my songs are honest and come from a vulnerable place. And so sharing those songs with people has really, it's just every show is a different show. It's growth. It's improvement. I feel like I get more confident and comfortable each time I'm sharing my heart, sharing my soul, sharing my music with a new audience or the same. Yeah, it's really personal and vulnerable. And I think that's why I like performing so much.
I think it's a time where, besides the magic that music just has by itself as a phenomenon in the world we live in, there's also, I think it's a time when we stop running around and listen to each other. And if I sing something that is a new perspective for someone, that, you know, that's one of the reasons that I write. It's like, did you ever look at this miracle of life this way? And if that goes in and it touches someone, that's really what I'm about. But also, it's like if they hear something, it's like, oh my God, I've been there, and they can relate. And it's like this time when we just stop all the activity and listen to one another. So rare in our world these days. And I think that's got a really strong healing aspect to it as well that I like.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I agree. What do you hope people kind of take away from your shows and your music when they see you all perform?
I think it varies, but I think when I write a song initially, all my songs that I write when I'm writing in that moment, even if it's for somebody else, like it's about somebody else, it's for me in that moment because it's my own creative project. But as soon as it's out there, released even, just as soon as it's being played for other people, it's a gift for them.
Mm.
They're paying to come see a show to receive something from me, from us. So it's a gift for them, and everybody reacts differently. Some people want to know what the song is about, and some people will know what it's about intuitively or have their own story, and that's also really cool. And some people will be like, this song is healing because I went through this, and that reminded me of it. I think that's kind of seems to be the main theme with talking to people after concerts. That's what I've noticed, which is really special. That's what I want it to be.
I like that it's a gift. And I was thinking about, I'm watching the monks that are walking from Texas to DC right now a lot because it calms my heart down so much. And people will give them flowers and they'll walk with the flowers for a while and then they'll give them to somebody else who's standing a little further down the line. And that kind of gift of just like, they carried it for a minute, but in both of those exchanges, when the flowers come to the monks and then they come back from the monks, it's like the feeling is just, it's like you're befriended by a beautiful spirit. And that is how I feel when I listen to Morgan's music, and it is how I would like people to feel when they listen to mine.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, and is there anything else in general just about both of your musical careers or things that are coming up for you that you want people to know about?
Well, let me think about this for a second. Can we go first?
Sure. The thing that came up right now is I did go sit at Stone Cottage Studios Songwriters Circle the other day, and I am not alone either. I think we were all just blown away by the community of unique voices of people in this area, and that's really exciting to me. And, you know, as an elder at this point, you know, especially hearing how solid the young people are in their own stance it makes me feel like the kids are all right, you know, the world is going to be handed into good hands now. And so I'm excited to be part of a community that's so strong and so varied.
That's amazing. Stone Cottage Studios is a special place for that too. I'm glad that you went to that. Good. Yeah. Really. They're really prioritizing cultivating community for other artists. Special. Recently, I just opened up for my friend Noah Gunderson in Bellingham, in my hometown. That was really special. That kind of ignited and I played to a crowd of about, a couple hundred plus people or so. And that really, a very engaged crowd, and that kind of set myself in a direction of just gratitude. And so that was amazing.
There he goes. That looked amazing from what you posted about it. It was like, he's off. There he goes.
It felt so good, and hopefully that is a seed planted. I'm tracking a new album soon, starting to track my upcoming album, which I don't know when that's going to be released necessarily, but I'm doing all the solo tracking next week on the second to last day of the month. That's really special because it's songs that are alive in me right now, that I don't get tired of playing, that I'm excited to share every time, and that just consistently feel new. And so, and that have been really received really well. And so these songs, I'm going to record them soon, next week, and then start the production process. And I got a good guy that I'm working with, so that's exciting. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing how that materializes and hopefully opens another door of creativity. So yeah, that's one thing that's exciting me right now. Or two.
Sweet. And yeah, I think I forgot to ask about this before we got on the call, but I am interested just as like we're coming out with a new publication in a little bit here, supplementary monthly publication called The Caribou Current, focus on arts throughout Boulder County. We're doing a segment called Under the Influence, and I should have asked for you guys to think about this before we got on the call. But for both of you guys, are there 3 or so albums especially that have really inspired you over the years, inspired your sound in any way, all that kind of stuff?
Oh, I love this question. Yes, 100%. So, sit on this for a second. There's more than 3, but I'm trying to really think of what ones really.
Boy, I've been writing for 54 years, and there are so many, and they're not all famous. And sometimes it's just some very unknown person that's just completely lit up. And there's like a transmission of some greater truth or something going on. Just thinking about someone named Steve Bruno, who I used to know in my 20s, and I have no idea where he is now, but, he played 12-string and lived off in the woods doing contracts, thinning forests for the Forest Service, and was a real hermit, but dang, he could write, and then, as we mentioned earlier, Joni Mitchell was an influence, and I hung out with a lot of jazz players, and that stuff went deep in, and African music was just coming to this country in a big way when I was in college, and there were representatives at University of Illinois where I was for a while, and they really influenced me. I loved that music. More general flavors, but the people who write deep words, they're sort of common, Bruce Coburn.
Oh,
Dylan,
yeah.
I came to later, but I did come to Dylan, eventually. We say come to Jesus, I don't know, like that. But, the turns of phrase that are so resonant that you wonder how that happens to people, that they can even conceive of a line like this or that, beautiful things. Joni Mitchell, James Taylor, those people. And as Review mentioned, like the British folk was deep in me too, like Fairport Convention, John Renbourn, Bert Jansch, those guys. The style of guitar playing that I learned first from this fellow when I was 16 came from, it was, Travis Peking, Hot Tuna, Jorma Kaukonen, those people. That's sort of what it grew out of, my guitar style.
I love that. I love that you said Bruce Coburn too. He was so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Very nostalgic for me.
Mm-hmm.
His guitar playing and singing. World of Wonder. That's one of my favorite. World of Wonders. Mighty Tooks of Midnight. I think my inspirations though, I'm probably going to have to say more than 3 if that's okay. Early on, I think Neil Young's Harvest album, that's always been something that I've always listened to those songs. Heart of Gold to, Out of the Weekend. Just like I might have not listened super closely as a kid just because I don't think I was as into it, but it was always playing. So the melodies are familiar. John Prine's self-titled album, his picking style, the way he plays guitar, really, really influenced me, and it's just his heartfelt emotion and his words, his way with words. Those 2 initially are absolute influences, but as of recent, I really like Jeffrey Martin's album, Dogs in the Daylight. Dogs in the Daylight is really, really fantastic. And then I'm sure Kimmerjae knows what I'm about to say, but Gregory Alan Isakov's This Empty Northern Hemisphere, that album is haunting and so raw and soft, but also like has so much energy, and you can hear every single acoustic sound in it. There's just so much to that. And that album really, really inspired me a lot. And I love Brandi Carlile's singing on it. She sings backup vocals in that. She's got kind of she's got a range, but she's got maybe a deeper, lower register. And Gregory Alan Isakov's got almost a higher register. So it's cool seeing the female harmony below supporting his higher voice. That, I don't know, that just kind of struck me, something I've heard as much before. And it was beautiful. So those albums all really stood out to me. I can go on a rabbit hole, but that's probably the best I'll do right now. Sweet.
I probably forgot that my folks were playing stuff from the Hootenanny era, Alan Lomax stuff, and all those old folk songs that were gathered up from around the country by Lomax and his crew. And, those were pretty deep, but probably the Joni Mitchell Blue album, I had several of hers, but that one I probably lived in that album for a good year, at least when I was first starting to play.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
And it's not over. It's like everything, I'm still like so inspired by people and wondering where the next song will go and who it will be, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. Is there just anything else in general you guys want to add? Because I think those are the big questions that I have on my end that I wanted to make sure I covered. But
Just can't wait for this gig. I hope it counts. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm so glad we got it in the books. So excited. It's a good listening room, too, when there's not noise.
Yeah.
Typically later in the day, it winds down, so I think we'll have a really nice audience.
Mm-hmm.
sweet. And yeah, I think those are the big questions that I have on my end.
Great. I love it.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you for your time and interest in this.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you so much to Kimmerjae and Morgan for coming on board and joining us for the podcast. They'll be performing together at Ned General, located at 112 East 2nd Street in Nederland, on Thursday, February 26, 2026, starting at 5 p.m. For more information about Kimmerjae as an artist, be sure to head to his website, bluestemstudioarts.com. You can find her album, Air Kisses, wherever you get your music. To learn more about Morgan McHugh's music, be sure to head to his website, morganmchugh.com. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to this week's Music of the Mountains, Where to Be and What to See, brought to you by the Mountaineer Podcast. I'll be back again next week with another episode of Music of the Mountains, and keep your ear out for the next episode of the Mountaineer Podcast. A huge special shout out to our brand new publication, The Caribou Current, which celebrated its launch party last week. The very first edition of The Caribou Current was included with the February 5th, 2026 edition of The Mountaineer. Of course, you can head to the mtnear.com to subscribe to our digital or physical edition of the newspaper today. But you can also learn more about our new publication by heading to its website at cariboucurrent.com. And also be sure to follow both at mtn.ear and at Caribou Current on Instagram. If you have any questions or suggestions about the podcast as a whole, be sure to reach out to myself at media@themountaineer.com or to my co-host Tyler Hickman at tyler@themountaineer.com. For general inquiries, be sure to reach out to our editor-in-chief, Barbara Hart, at info@themountaineer.com or to frontdesk@themountaineer.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys very soon. Have a great rest of your day.
Darling, I love you. Don't you know I care? But there's something on my mind. Would you answer if I dare? I've seen a man.
The song that you are currently listening to is called Angelina. It's a song from the debut studio project by Morgan McHugh, This Crooked House, which you can find along with his live album Live at Mojo wherever you get your music. Be sure to learn more about him and his music by going to his website, morganmchugh.com. He'll be performing with singer-songwriter Kimmerjae Macarus at Ned General Store on Thursday, February 26th. So be sure to see both of them performing live in Nederland. You can learn more about Kimmerjae by going to her arts website, bluestemstudioarts.com, and you can find her album Air Kisses wherever you get your music.
Oh, Angelina, now I can see ya. You're not the one you used to be back then. Couldn't learn your lessons, you should have left them. When you were younger, sunshine turned to gale. You were living in a fairy tale.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.